welcome back to another episode of the Roadmap Home podcast. It's been a minute. But I've just kind of been trying to figure out what direction we wanted to take with the podcast. But today we have Lauren with us. I'm so excited. So, Lauren, let's just kind of chat. I know we got coffee a couple weeks ago. Was it a couple weeks now? Or was it last week?
I think so. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like it's gone. It's been a whirlwind.
What is
Spring
time?
market is like kicking our butts. Yeah.
I know. Spring going into summer. I'm like, what's today? I don't know. Tuesday? Okay, cool.
Don't know.
Awesome. So you're a mom, right?
Yes.
So Damien and I were talking about this a little bit. I do have a question actually.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is like the biggest difference or challenge from like before you were a mom and being a realtor, like running your own business and all the things you do, because you like flip homes and everything.
Yeah.
And then like now having little guy.
Yeah. I think the biggest challenge for me personally is like the constant pull between loving what I do and loving working and having like a professional life outside of motherhood, but also on the flip side, so much so like love being a mom and love that role of my life and trying to like when I'm at work, I miss my son. And when I'm with my son, I'm like, I should be working, or like being able to just like integrate those two things and find a good balance. Because before my son, it was like work was my baby. And I just, they always say like things change when you have your child, obviously, but it's so hard to really understand how it changes until you're in it. And I just thought like, yeah, I was going to have my son, but like nothing was really going to change for me like that. Like I was still going to like work a lot and have this professional life and hustle, hustle, hustle. And I still do, but I don't find as much fulfillment from like the hustle that I used to. I find myself like wanting to slow down and wanting to spend time with my son and really just like missing that a lot when I am at work. Even though I do love what I do, but there's just always that constant struggle for me, at least personally. And then I feel like there was a lot more pressure put on me when I did have my son of like making the right choices and being a little bit less risky possibly, and like the investments and things that I'm making, because it's like I've got another human to like keep alive now. And so I feel like I've just always been an overthinker, and having a child now, it's like amplified that. So I'm learning how to also like balance the mental side of that as well.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
nuts.
It's not, yeah, it's like, what? Like, we talked about this, but it's like, wait, who trusted me to be an adult? I'm
Literally.
confused. And like, you're like a whole ass mom now. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah. So it's crazy, but I do love that answer. And I think I'm obviously not a mom, so I can't relate, but I can definitely understand like where you're coming from. And I wonder if it's maybe different. It's probably different for everybody, but
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like you get to a point where it's like, okay, like this is the balance. This is my routine. This is where I'm at. I don't know if like you've started to kind of find that, or if you're still kind of like, I don't really know what the hell I'm doing.
There's a lot of that, of like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a day-to-day thing,
For
like
sure.
one day you're like, I'm freaking rocking this, I've got my
Absolutely.
balance, I'm good. Then other days you're like, oh
What is
my
life?
gosh, you just feel like that tug of like, here, like what
Absolutely.
do I do? Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think like that mom guilt is just always present, like no matter what, of just like I feel like I should be doing maybe something more, something different, and it's just figuring out like, what does what does this new life look like for me? What does my new success look like for me? And what truly fulfills me? And figuring out, where can I find that balance at? And I think it just takes time. I mean, he'll be 16 months this month. So I feel like I put a lot of pressure on myself and I need to just kind of like let things happen sometimes. But I think, yeah, it just is going to be something that comes with time too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you and I talked a little bit about um, having kids in general and
Hmm.
just kind of the different mindsets and everything. Like I mentioned to you, like I didn't grow up like, oh my God, I want to be a mom, like
Yeah.
that wasn't like, did I play with like baby dolls and stuff like that? Yeah, of course. But
Uh-huh.
it wasn't ever like that was your mindset. And I think it right now it's like normalized of like that is who become moms, right?
Uh-huh.
But you mentioned like you were never really like that either, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was never really the girl that dreamt about, a family or a wedding or anything like that. I kind of went through life of like, if I have kids, great. If I don't, like, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And then my now fiance, Oscar, who he came into my life and he was somebody that had always wanted to be a dad. Like, it's like his life purpose. Um, and so he changed my perspective on a lot of things, just because of who he was and his beliefs and his values and things. And so then I started like warming up to the idea and kind of like seeing how, he felt about it. And yeah, and it's not like something that you just kind of like change overnight, right? So,
You're
like
like,
change your mind.
yeah, no, you're like, I guess like let's have one. And
Sure, why not?
we're just gonna like see how it goes.
Right. It's not like a decision that you just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't like that at all. It was absolutely like, I remember having conversations with him of like, what if I'm like not a good mom? Like, what if like that motherhood instinct just like doesn't kick in? Or like, cause I
And,
don't know, you hear these stories of these like women that like don't bond with their babies. And I'm like,
oh,
what if that's me? Or like, I've literally never changed a diaper in my life. Like,
you
what if
no, Lauren,
never
for
changed a
real?
diaper in my life? Yeah.
Before your kid?
Yeah. The first time I ever changed a diaper was at the hospital for my
You're like,
child.
okay, nurses, I need you to look away and mind your
Yeah.
business. I'm gonna just get through this mentally myself.
Don't judge me.
Yes. Did the nurses know at the hospital?
I
Did you
don't
tell them?
I don't think so. I don't even
Uh,
know. It was such a
I don't.
blur, but luckily though,
That is.
I'm just really like blessed to have someone like Oscar because he would just be like he had so much confidence in me. Like he's like, you're gonna be a great mom. Like the way that you handle yourself and that you like do life and like you're gonna be fine. Like I'll teach you how to change a diaper, I promise. Like you'll be okay. Cause he's like one of five in his family.
Oh
And
yeah.
so he's the youngest. And so all of his older siblings had babies. So he was always around like kids and babies. I was an only child. So it's like, and I was the youngest of my entire family, like my cousins and
Oh.
everything too. So
Okay.
it was
Okay.
just, yeah, I just was not like exposed to like babies or children or anything. So
Okay.
it's just wild.
That's such a little fun fact about you. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That is great. And look at you. You're freaking killing it as a mom. You're doing so
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing so good.
Well,
Um
thank you.
crazy. So real estate, we do
Yeah,
that.
we do.
Yeah.
We do actually do real
Sometimes
estate.
sometimes I'm like, do we do it or does it do us? I don't know.
Literally. Most of the time, I think it's the other way around.
I know. What's in your pipeline right now? Like what's things looking like? Are you super
It,
busy?
Yeah, so this year, I feel like last year, obviously, I had my son, so I kind of scaled back a little bit, took a back seat. And so this year, I was just really excited to like get back to get back to my business, and so I started off really well. And I also feel like this year, people are adjusting to the interest rates a little bit more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's definitely helped. So yeah, the start of this year, the first half of this year has gone really well. I should be at my goal here to reach, I think my goal was 25 houses by the end of the year. So I'm about halfway there now, which is
Good.
awesome. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
So I'm really excited about that. And they've all just been really just like rewarding this year. Like, I don't know. I think because it is such like a tough market for buyers, it's like when you get an accepted offer and you get to that closing table, it is like,
Praise
thank you.
Jesus.
How did
Yeah.
we get here? I don't know, but I'm so glad that we did. And like people are just so excited.
Oh,
So,
it is so rewarding too. And it,
hmm
especially in a market where you're working, I would say that I, for the most part, work with the majority of buyers and
okay.
like first time home buyers. And so it's like
Yeah.
when you get to that closing table and you know like what they went through and what we had, like how
Yeah.
many houses we had to see, how many offers we had to write, it's like, oh my gosh, like we're here. Like we made it.
hmm
It's
hmm
like almost kind of unbelievable, but no,
Yeah.
it's great and it can be it can like beat the buyers down. Like
Yeah.
just like how competitive it is and
Yeah.
everything, it's just kind of like and then you think about like okay, the buyers, but then also us, right?
Right.
You're like I'm over here, I'm like behind the scenes, I'm like pillow in my face, like screaming. And then like to
Every
my
other
buyers,
minute.
yeah, and then to my buyers, I'm like, it's okay, it's gonna be good.
Everything's fine.
We've
Yeah.
got it. We're just gonna keep swinging. Like,
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm fine.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think you mentioned this before, but like as time goes on, like you almost get like numb to certain things.
Yeah, I'm completely numbed out, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, it's like like literally the if I'll be like around family, right, or even friends and that aren't in the real estate market, like or in the industry, and they start talking about interest rates, I'm numb. I have
I will have a mental breakdown right now if you ask me about these. Like, do
I
not.
will go 2007 Britney Spears if you don't shut up. I can't have another conversation about interest rates. I can't. I like my face says everything in every
hmm
situation. It's honestly a curse.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, "Yeah, interest rates, Mikala. What do you think?" And I'm like,
And it's also because it's not just like an easy conversation. Like it's not like black and white. It's like how much time do you have? Like
how
you
in
want to talk
depth?
about this? Yeah.
Yeah, how in depth are we getting here? Like, do we need to grab a snack because I'm long
Yeah.
winded anyways? Okay.
Yeah.
And now you want to talk about this subject? Okay. Take a
Not my
seat.
favorite.
Grab a snack.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yes.
I don't know if it's like for me, it's like I feel like I've just experienced like real estate is just such every day is different. Every single day
Yeah.
is different. And it's like especially because you've been on a team as well as I
Mhm.
have where we take internet leads, right? So
Mhm.
we're essentially meeting strangers. Like we don't know who these people are. We don't know their personalities. Like you don't really know what you're getting into with some of these deals. And so I've just experienced some of the most like wild things I feel like through real estate with people, and it's gotten me to a point of like you can't surprise me anymore. Like I'm not I,
Lauren,
cool.
you better find
I
wood real quick and knock on it because I don't want to be getting a phone call.
like
Like,
hear this. You thought I
you'll
couldn't
never.
get surprised? Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm like, some of the things, like, I think like I'm still experiencing some things where I'm like, that's new. But I'm also like kind of like at the point in my career where I like don't freak out about it as much. Like in the beginning, I would be like instantly like calling people like, what do I do? Like, oh my gosh, like my deal's blowing up, like life is ending. I don't know literally what is happening, and now I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, yeah. I mean, that's new. I've never experienced that. That's a new one for sure. Add it to the resume. But I mean, let's just
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Let's just keep trucking along, Yep. And so it is what it is. What you told me a story when we got coffee, but is that your like craziest ever? Or like
was that the story where I think it was the one where the guy fell for like an internet scam in the middle of the transaction? Was that the one? Because I've got plenty of crazy stories. I don't even think that's the craziest one.
Oh, what is your? Okay, I'll tell you mine if you tell me yours.
Okay, you go first.
Okay. Okay, so this is wild. Okay, so at least I think it's wild, and then you're gonna tell me yours, and I'm gonna just be like, but okay. So this was an internet lead. Okay. And I helped them buy and sell both sides. Okay. Once we bought first, and then we went to sell. Once we got to the sell part, like, I knew that I probably shouldn't have taken the sale of the home. We just weren't really meshing well. Going back to like not being everybody's cup of tea, realizing that. But I did. And it got, long story short, just the things that he would say to me, it got to a point where every time I got a text message, my stomach literally would like get in knots. The worst. Yeah. I was so anxious, and I've never been in a toxic relationship. I've never been in a toxic, and I'm being so serious. And then I'm like telling
welcome to your first one.
Well, it's got to be real estate. Yeah, and I am telling Damien, I'm like, is this what it feels like? I'm like, because this is so mentally draining. I worked with these clients for in between like the buy and sell upwards of like 6 to 8 months. And I just was like so emotionally drained. And I remember calling Kelly and just saying like, hey, is there any way I can get out of this? And she's like, it has to be mutual. And I'm like, okay. And so we just trucked along. Okay. That's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is after all of like the transaction was done. After the transaction done, we parted ways. Cool beans. Congratulations. About 2-ish weeks after closing, I was on my way home from a showing in Grand Haven. And so I went to get off my exit. I'm driving. Sorry, that was the second time. So I'm driving. And I'm in the right lane, and I have no business being in the right lane anyways. Okay. And so I see in my rearview mirror that there is a vehicle like speeding up, and I'm like, he belongs in the right lane. I do not. So I'm gonna get over and like we'll flip flop, right? Well, I couldn't get over quick enough to where like he was then parallel with me. And I look over.
Too quiet. Oh my gosh.
Like, what are the odds? He proceeds to move over. Mind you, there's a car in front of him and a car in front of me. And so he proceeds to like move. I'm like going off of the highway at this point. And I'm like honking my horn like, hello, could we stop? Like, what are we doing?
And he obviously sees you because he's like right next to you.
We locked eyes. He's literally laughing at this point. And I'm like, am I about to be on a Lifetime movie? What's happening? I cannot. And so whatever, he speeds up and goes. I call Damien and I'm like, you'll never guess what just happened. And I told him, right? Cool. Fast forward about a month or so later. I'm on my way home yet again from another showing. He is an exit ahead of me. So like
what?
past my exit. Yeah. We're like, yeah.
This is a separate like second occasion where you've like run into this person on the road. Oh my gosh.
Yes. I get off my exit and I look in my rearview mirror and he's behind me.
What the heck?
I'm like, okay. And I'm like, we lock eyes and he speeds around me. Like, it's a 1-lane off ramp, my girl. Okay. And so he speeds around me and gets back on the highway. And I call Damien. Yeah, I call Damien and I'm like, you'll never guess what just happened. And I have a tendency to overreact. I'll be the first to admit it. And so I'm like trying to play this off, like very cool, calm, and collected, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, if this happens again, like it's a little freaking weird, right? And Damien's like, it's a little freaking weird right now.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And so I had called my team lead at the time and was like, just letting you know, because it was a lead. I'm like, hey. And he's like, you need to write an email to all, like, everybody. Yeah. And so we can start documenting it. And he's like, do you want to go to the cops? And I was like, no, I don't. I don't want anything to do with them.
So don't want him to run me off the road anymore. That would be great. Thank you.
Can we just stay in our own lane? Literally?
Literally, please? Oh my
Don't be dramatic. Yeah, so that's mine. I would say that's probably, I mean, I have
that is crazy.
Others. Yeah.
Did you guys just like not end on good terms, or was this guy just like pissed off at the world kind of thing?
Honestly, the second one I would say would be more so, but I will say, this was very early on in my career.
Okay.
And so I will also be the first to admit that I didn't do every single thing right in that transaction.
Sure.
And so it just wasn't a good fit. And we'll just leave it at that. But
that's just like drastic.
It's a little, yeah. I'm like, hello, I get it. We both probably have full coverage, but let's not use it.
Did you call him and be like, hey, like, why are you trying to like literally kill me? Or did you send an email?
Oh, I sent an email to like Mike and Kelly and everybody just to get a paper trail of like what was just going on.
In case you like come up like missing or something.
This guy. They're like, what? And I'm like,
that's nuts.
And so
that's crazy.
Yeah, I just would never in a million years speak to somebody the way that he spoke to me. It was like, I almost like couldn't even believe I was being spoken to that way. I've never been spoken to that way. And it was just like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But, okay, so.
Had a few of those. So my crazy story. I think if I had to choose the craziest one, it would also be an internet lead situation.
They're great.
They're so fun.
They are.
But so to kind of give a little background context for people who might not know, when we say internet leads, right, they're usually people coming from like Zillow, Realtor.com. They're looking online and they're like, I like this house. Let me get more information. They put in their number, their email, and then it goes to our phones and we answer it. And we're like, hey, I saw you inquired on this house. You want to go see it? And then hopefully they like us enough and become our clients. So this was also early on in my career. I think it had to have been pre-COVID. So it was definitely like 2019. In the summer, I got an internet lead, and they call, it usually pops up with like the address, the price, it just details about the house. So I get an internet lead, and it was like it was over 500,000, and I was like, this is going to be good. Like, I'm excited about this, right?
Yes.
So I answer it. And nothing really seemed weird. I mean, it was a guy on the other end. He seemed kind of young, like just from his voice. I don't even know how to describe that, but just, the way he was speaking, the way he was talking. And he inquired on this house, and he's like, but he sounded like he knew what he was talking about. And he was like, yeah, I would like to see this house. I want to see this house because it's right next to my uncle's house. And I see it's for sale. I'd like to go see it. I'm really interested in living by my uncle. I'm really excited about the pool in the backyard and the tall ceilings. Like he was like describing like the inside of the house. And at the time I'm like clicking through the pictures, and I'm like, as I'm talking to him, because I'm in front of my computer, and I'm like, yep, yeah, no, that all sounds like it matches up. And then I said, do you have proof of funds? Because typically anything over 500,000, the listing agent and the sellers do require some sort of proof of funds, either a pre-approval letter or like a bank statement showing that you have the cash to purchase it. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. Like, I'll email it to you. And I'm like, okay, so like things are checking out. He emails it to me. I don't remember what bank it was through, but it was like a Chase or an LMCU or something. So I set up the showing. It must have been for same day or next day, pretty soon after, and we go see the property. And I get there before they do. I walk in, I open doors, lights, whatever, and then they pull up, and it's a guy and a girl and their daughter, who had to have been like, I don't know, under 5, 3 to 5, and they're young. So I'm like, how are these young people affording this like $500,000 house? Like that's kind of weird. I'm like, but he has a pre-approval, so like whatever. And then their car also was kind of like a hoopty. Like it wasn't nice, but I'm like, I know a lot of rich people who just like don't care about cars. Like whatever. So I don't know. There's just like little things going off. But I'm like, we'll see. So they come in, and I'm talking to the husband or the guy, whatever he was. And then the little child is like going nuts. She's like running through the house. She's like, luckily there was like no furniture or anything in the house, because like she would have been on like everything. But she was running around. The mom was chasing her around. I'm like walking the guy through. I'm like asking him, like, oh, he's like, yeah, my uncle lives next door. I was like swimming in his pool over there one day and saw this one come up. So like things are checking out. And then we leave, and he wanted to set up a couple other properties that were it was like a gated community too. So there's a couple houses in this area that was for sale, and he wanted to go see those. But he kind of let me know at the showing, and they weren't like, I had to make an appointment to make those. So we couldn't see them that day, but we were going to see them the following day. And so they leave. And then I'm doing my due diligence, right? I'm turning all the lights off. I'm there by myself. I'm turning all the lights off, making sure all the windows are shut, all that stuff. And I go down to the basement, and the basement door is unlocked. Like it's like a walkout basement. I'm like, that's weird, because I don't remember like unlocking this, but I locked it. I'm like, whatever, da da da. Lock up the house, and I leave. And then later that day, the listing agent calls me, and she's like, hey, you showed this property of my listing. And she's like, and the neighbor saw you guys leaving, and the guy that you're with, he is trying to break into houses and like steal their things. And he just broke into the neighbor's house like last week, and like starts like going on this tangent of like, this guy is a criminal basically. And I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And so it was just so crazy. And so she's like, yeah, she's telling me this story. And she's like, he was caught in the neighbor's yard swimming in the pool by another neighbor when the neighbors were gone. So the neighbor comes over and was like, hey, like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, this is my uncle's house. He actually is gone. I'm staying here, but I locked myself out. Can I come into your house and use your phone to call my uncle to get back into this house? So the neighbor lets this man in his house, like use his phone to call his uncle. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I really like your house. Like, can you show me around? The guy shows him around his entire house. Just a stranger who shows around his house. And so I guess
okay, wait, did he have it coming? Because why would you would you do that? Never in a million
No, dude.
years.
This is so crazy. Like, I literally felt like I was just living in a Netflix documentary. I was like, what is going on? So he goes into this guy's house and apparently steals stuff while he's there. He like steals his wallet, steals his watch. The guy doesn't notice at first. I guess the guy is like a second or third shifter. Um, so he lets the guy leave, that kid leave. He goes to sleep. He wakes up for his shift, can't find his wallet, can't find his watch, things like that. So he's like, this guy stole it, ends up filing a police report. The police are like, well, you kind of let him in your house. Like, it wasn't breaking and entering. We can't really do anything. And obviously it's a nice community, right? So they know who's in and out. It's gated. And so obviously word is spreading around. And then they see me showing this guy this vacant house. And the agent's like, we gotta get this guy. Like, the neighbor saw you. She's like, you have showing set up for tomorrow. Set up the showing with him and pretend you're gonna show him the house. I'll get the cops there and we'll get him around. I was like, no, this is where it ends right here, because I'm not gonna be the last face he sees when he goes to jail. That's beyond my pay grade. Like, I'll give you his number.
I don't get paid. I don't get paid for this. Yeah.
No, out. So I cooperated. And then, you know how we get those emails like from Pam where she's like, scam alert, whatever. I let her know. And a whole email went out. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm like living this right now.
Oh no.
So that was crazy.
Those emails, let me tell you what, nothing prepares you for those emails. You know what I mean? Like, real estate school doesn't prepare you for literally anything. I'm not kidding you. My first showing, it was like Jake taught me how to like work Sentry, right? But that was it. And my very first showing was like one of those old school lock boxes where like you have to like hold the like thing down and like punch. It's like the like little knobs or whatever, and you have to like punch in the numbers.
That's terrible.
Super weird. I had to call the listing agent and was like, Doug, I don't know how to close. We ended up writing on it and he accepted our offer. I was like, nice. I promise I'm not an idiot. I just don't know how to work these dang lock boxes. Real estate school didn't teach me that. But yeah, literally, and once I started getting Pam's emails, I was like, wait a minute. There was no chapter on how dangerous real estate was.
No, there's not. Or there's no like rule book of how to handle these situations. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. Just vibing.
We're all out here
hoping to make a sale. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Hoping to help some clients find some homes and hoping that we stay safe.
You don't get scammed in the process. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't take internet leads anymore, but
me either.
Still there's like some situations where I'm like,
yeah. I feel like now it's usually because my clients are either like past referrals or like friends or family. Usually the craziness is on the other side of the transaction now. Yeah. You can't really predict that.
You can't. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate you being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Chatting. Yeah, of course. And then until next time, hopefully we'll have you on again.
Yeah, I got all the crazy stories. So I could be on here just to tell stories.
Bet. Okay, let's do that.
Whenever you need a juicy one, let me know.
So this can be just, our therapy. Because, just come on here and we just talk about our crazy real estate stories. I'm down.
I got plenty of them.
All right, guys. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.